What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Star Wars Closet, where we dive deep into a galaxy far, far away. And today we will be talking about the first 3 episodes of Andor Season 2. And let me be the first to tell you, if you have been under a rock on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, it got a little controversial. But, of course it did. Of course it did. Now, to be fair, they had some, let's call it a very intense moment with SA or the R word. We're going to get into all of that stuff. It has made things so divisive online in a way that I haven't seen since The Acolyte. The show is very gritty, it's intense, it's pretty action-packed for the most part so far, but the main question is, does it feel like Star Wars? And when I say that, I always get pushback on, well, what is Star Wars? Is anything that they put out with the IP Star Wars? Blah, 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 blah. To me, Star Wars is a feeling. Not always catching that feeling from this show so far, but we will dive into it. Before we do, make sure you hit subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss more Star Wars Closet content just like this. Today I decided to wear my Love Thy Neighbor hat because we're gonna love each other, huh? I think we're all fine. Everything's okay. You're gonna be okay watching Star Wars, and you'll be okay. Because at the end of the day, this is Star Wars. It's not actually happening. It did happen a long, long time ago. What we're seeing already happened. But I feel like we all can be friends, right? Let's love our neighbor, huh? We can do it. I love you. And let's talk about Andor Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3. Kicking off with episode 1 year later, we see Cassian and Andor pulling off a slick heist to steal an experimental TIE fighter. I think Diego Luna's absolutely crushing it. He's showing Cassian's growth from season 1's reluctant rebel to this kind of confident operative who you can tell has trained to fly this ship, but maybe wasn't fully prepared to. However, it is a lot of fun. It's very action-packed. And that whole conversation with the Imperial technician, it's very raw, showing the human cost of fighting in the Empire. Mon Mothma's Coruscant scenes are pretty great. The acting's really good. The family drama at the wedding, it hits really hard, but I was kind of ready to move on from it halfway through the first episode. It's a really solid start, but it leans heavy into this kind of spy thriller vibe. And so my question is, where's kind of the Star Wars flair? I love the beginning with the stormtroopers and even some of the funny moments. You can tell it's a very gritty rebellion that we're in the middle of. And again, it feels good. It's good to watch, but it feels more like a sci-fi drama than the usual Star Wars epic. And that Imperial propaganda video shown to the officers, it's creepy, it's well done, it just screams dystopian sci-fi, not Star Wars. This is no space opera magic I'm watching. It's missing the Star Wars soul that we have all come to know and love. But the TIE fighter sequence is really, really awesome. So overall, I give this episode a 7.2 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. The opening sequence was fun. I mean, that's the best way I could put it. I thought a lot of the, supposed to be funnier scenes were actually funny. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a 7.2, and then I'll give my overall thoughts at the end of this, but so far so good. I like it, and I'm excited for episode 2. Episode 2, Sagrona Teema. Sagrona Teema takes us to a jungle moon where Cassian's kind of stuck with a ragtag rebel crew. These odd, weird pirate kind of guys and girls that seem like they just lack leadership and I guess any sort of common sense. There's a lot of trust issues and survival in this episode, which mirrors the rebellion's bigger struggles. The character moments are pretty awesome. Cassian's stepping up as a leader, but the pacing just really dragged in this episode. Way too much bickering, not enough action. To me, this episode out of the 3 ends up kind of being my lowest one. It's still Andor quality with great visuals, Mon Mothma stealing scenes on Coruscant, but it feels like a side quest. So overall, I give this episode a 6.5 out of 10. It dragged a lot for me. I'm kind of at this point already over Cassian being stuck in what would be seen as Yavin 4. All we see him is this tight little space in the jungle where just a lot of shenanigans keep happening. But the part that stuck with me the most in this entire episode, for some reason, was the propaganda video that I alluded to earlier. It's very off-putting. It's not very Star Warsy, and I know that triggers a lot of people when you say that, but it's not very Star Warsy. The Star Wars that I've just kind of come to know and love is there's a little bit of a man, the Empire, we see and feel how propagandic they can be already. I mean, that's already seen. But when you are watching Imperial officers watch a video, a propaganda video, and it sounds and feels like they're playing it on a projector, and then you have this voiceover about coming to be a part of the Empire. It's very weird, and I didn't like it. I remember just staring at the screen, feeling like, what is this? What is this? What did I just step into? This does not feel like Star Wars. I will say the acting in this episode was phenomenal. The acting in all of the episodes is very, very good. I really enjoyed it. They're doing a great job. However, this one lands with a 6.5 for me, and now let's move on to episode 3. Episode 3, Harvest. Harvest brings the heat. Cassian's rebel group faces tough choices, and the action really ramps up. Bix's nightmares about her torture really hit like a gut punch in a lot of ways. Her performance is very haunting. Mon's celebration scene, with all the music callback, really ties her and Cassian's story beautifully. Really, the whole episode was dark, but action-packed. This episode balances heart and action, stakes. It's kind of peak Andor. A lot of clever editing that sets up really big things, big moments. But even here, the propaganda video and spy thriller tone makes it feel less like Star Wars and more like a gritty political drama. Still, to me, it's the strongest of the three, hands down. So this one I end up giving an 8.2 out of 10. I thought it was a really well done episode. I thought it was very action-packed, and I thought it gave us the most out of the 3 episodes. So ranking them, we have episode 3 at 8.2, episode 1 at 7.2, and episode 2 at a 6.5. Andor season 2 is really good. It's top tier writing, acting, and visuals. But I really want to talk a lot about the Star Wars vibe, because that's what it's missing to me. To me, and I said this on X, took some heat for it, took some love for it, but what are you gonna do? I really feel like it is a great show by itself. It is a show within Star Wars' universe, but it is a non-Star Warsy show. And for a lot of us, when we say that, a lot of us think of Star Wars as what we grew up with. We think of Jedis. They make Star Wars. Jedis and Sith, the Force, all that stuff makes Star Wars. I get that we're world building and we're showing people the nitty gritty and the behind the scenes of the war that's going on. It's way darker and way, probably you could argue, worse than a farm boy who is the chosen one's son who goes off and flies and destroys the Death Star, and you really don't think about much else. There's a lot happening in the background, and that's what this is intended to show us. But it's doing so in this very like kind of HBO AMC show style, where it's like they're more excited about the darkness of it than they are the Star Warsy kind of fun part of it. And no, war is not supposed to be fun, and no, not all Star Wars is supposed to be super exciting, over the top lightsabers and all the things. I don't think that's the case anyways. I think you can have great writing and great acting like we have in this, and great cinematography. I think the whole thing is done very, very well. I do want to give it its flowers. It's a great show overall. It does not fit Star Wars for me, and that's okay. I have an opinion that you may not have, and you will be okay. We all will, maybe. Some of us won't be. We'll see what happens. But again, top tier writing, acting, and visuals. Not a lot of Star Wars vibes. The Imperial propaganda video, for example, is straight up Orwellian. It's brilliant, but feels like it belongs in Blade Runner, not a galaxy where there are lightsabers and X-Wings. But it's a political sci-fi drama in the disguise of Star Wars. Hold on real quick, because I have to tell you about today's awesome sponsor, Soundstripe. If you are looking to level up your content with any royalty-free music just like I have and a lot of other creators, you can have better sound, design, and music. Make sure you use the link in the description and use code the Star Wars Closet for 10% off your first purchase. Thank you so much, Soundstripe, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. And obviously you have the most controversial moment of all, where you have the SA moment, or the R-word moment, whatever we're supposed to call it. And that has caused quite a stir online in a way that I have not seen since The Acolyte. And once again, Star Wars fans fall into this trap where we are black and white about everything that we feel, and I think that's a bigger sign of society, and I'm not going to get into all that, but we have to stop being so black and white about how we interpret and how we feel about things. Do I feel like SA or the R word belonged in Star Wars? Personally, no, I do not. I think there's been a lot of implications of that in a lot of ways within the 9 movies and within other shows in Star Wars and books and so on. And when they showed that in episode 3, did it bother me? Absolutely it did. I wasn't sitting there thinking the whole time like, why is this in Star Wars? Wars, I just kept thinking, you need to get away from this dude. Obviously, we see what happens at the end of the episode. However, when I digested it later, I kept thinking, why did we have to do that though? Why could it not be, cut away from real quick or whatever? And I get it. Everyone's going to make different arguments for why it's okay and why it's not. I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm just saying I wouldn't have put it in there. Obviously, the motive is not okay. You understand what I'm saying. I have to say that because there are people that will barely watch this and interpret it the completely wrong way, because that's what a lot of people like to do. So no, my official stance, I don't believe it belonged in there, but it was in there. I'm still going to watch episode 4. But you have a lot of people that think that if you think it should be in there, then you must like it. And I don't think that's inherently true. But then you have people that are fighting those that think it should not be in there. That also baffles me. Look, at the end of the day, I get both sides. Yes, this is what war probably looks like, and this is kind of what the space Nazis would probably be doing. But on the other hand, that's implied. It's Star Wars. Can we not just have fun and watch Star Wars? So I digress. I don't care. If whatever your opinion is, it's your opinion. I love you to death. You might hate me. That's fine. I love you, baby. I love you. You're gonna be okay. So what do you think? Do you think it needed a little more Star Warsy? Or did you like the fact that it had this gritty vibe all on its own? So there you have it. That is my take on the first 3 episodes of Andor Season 2. I cannot wait for next week, honestly, to see what happens. Obviously, we know what happens in the long term for a lot of these characters. But I'm excited to see what happens right now with Andor Season 2, episodes 4, 5, and 6. And I believe those take place a year after the ones we just watched. So, I don't know. It's an interesting way to do this. It's an interesting way to structure this show. But I'm intrigued, so I'm going to watch it. Drop your rankings of these 3 episodes in the comments below. Which ones were your favorites? Which ones weren't? If you want to get into a debate in my comment section like a lot of people like to do, that's fine. Keep it cordial and do not argue with me. Make sure, once again, you hit the subscribe button, the bell, the like button, or the dislike button. Keep up with what we were doing here at the Star Wars Closet, and make sure you check out soundstripe.com/Star Wars Closet to get royalty-free music just like I have. And before we go, let me leave you all with one more question. Why, oh why did they leave that cute little droid behind? I don't even remember his name though, so who am I to judge? We'll see you all in the next one.